What is going on, everyone? Welcome to another very exciting episode right here on the MIgardener channel. In today's episode, I'm probably going to burst somebody's bubble, but that's okay because I know that I'm setting you up for success and I know that I'm being honest and upfront. In this episode, I'm going to be talking about some plants that I never, ever want you buying from a local greenhouse or garden center. Some of you, I understand, will have already done this, but I'm hoping that in this video, it's going to serve as a future reference for all of you to hopefully save you a lot of money and a lot of frustration and just anger, because I also understand that not a lot of greenhouses and garden centers have your best interest in mind. We've talked about this in the past where I've gone to greenhouses and garden centers and just seen way too many things that I just don't agree with. And it's always been my mission to be upfront, be transparent, and be honest to set you all up for success, because I understand there are people out there that don't really care. And as much as that pains me to say, that's the truth. What prompted this video was I got a message on Instagram last night, and it was from a really frustrated gardener that said, I planted most of my spring garden out and I spent a good part of my budget on my spring garden. The plants did not come to fruition. I did not have as much success as I thought I would. A lot of the plants got eaten by a hungry rabbit, and I'm really left with almost nothing left in my garden. I spent most of my budget, so I don't have a whole lot of budget left for my summer garden. And on top of that, I'm frustrated and ticked off because I spent all this money, $250 also, mind you. $250 were spent on plant starts, and they got roughly, they estimated about $7 out of their garden. The first plant that I would never, ever recommend buying from a greenhouse or a garden center is actually two different types of plants, but in the same category, and that's root crops. We've talked all the time about how root crops do not transplant well because they are grown in a pack, in a cell pack or a pot. And when you move those out, you're naturally going to cause some type of damage. That damage causes stress, and the stress sets back the plant. But the problem is what you're damaging is the root that eventually will become what you're harvesting. So one of these crops would be carrots, beets, and parsnips. I have seen all three of these crops being sold at very reputable garden centers such as Lowe's and Home Depot. I've seen them carried at greenhouses and garden centers that are small family-owned greenhouses and garden centers. Just because they are a plant that grows from a seed does not mean that you should be selling these at a greenhouse and garden center. And shame on the person that thinks that this is appropriate and acceptable, because they should know better. They should have enough experience to know that these plants don't transplant well, and you're setting someone up for a miserable gardening experience because the carrots just will not come to fruition. And even assuming that some of them do come to fruition, let's talk about just how uneconomical it is. You're buying a cell pack. Let's say it's a 4-pack that has 3 or 4 plants in each cell. Assuming those don't fizzle out and just completely outright fail because of the transplant shock, assuming they do happen to do well, you're getting 3 or 4 plants per cell, 4 cells per pack. You're getting 12 to 16 carrots for about $1.50 minimum, upwards of $3.50 I've seen them for. 12 carrots for $3.50. You can buy a packet of carrot seeds, plant them in their final location, and you're buying a packet of carrot seeds for anywhere from 99 cents upwards of $3. So you're spending about the same amount of money for 10, 15 times as many potential carrots. Now, I know you might not have space for 500 carrots. I get it. Not everyone does have space for 500 carrots. But the fact of the matter is you're not only going to be putting them in a location where they're going to grow better because you're not transplanting them. You're just putting the seeds in and they're growing. So not only are you setting yourself up for success, but you're also saving money in the process. The next crop that I just do not want you guys buying from a local greenhouse or from any greenhouse or garden center, doesn't matter which one it is, you should never be buying lettuce. Any type of lettuce, doesn't matter. Lettuce and spinach, I'll both lump this into this category of leafy greens. Leafy greens just are not economically, they just don't make economical sense. I was just at Lowe's picking up some stuff where I saw the beets and the carrots. I saw a pack of lettuce. I saw a 3-inch pack of 2 plants of lettuce It was like a salad bowl mix in a 3-inch pot. And that pot was for $3.50. $3.50 for 2 plants that were too crowded out to ever become a full head of lettuce. So you're essentially growing them for leaf lettuce for $3.50. Again, I can go to any greenhouse or garden center, or I can go to any farmer's market, and I can buy a whole head of lettuce for $1.50. Doesn't make any sense. You're literally setting $1.50 on fire, which just does not make any sense to me. You can also go and get a peck of lettuce seed. You can buy a pack of lettuce seed that has 500 to 1,000 seeds in it for anywhere from 99 cents upwards of $3. So again, same price range, but you're getting 500 to 1,000 seeds. You can grow them high density like we do, or you can grow them like they're to a full head like we do. And in both instances, it is light years more affordable than buying a single plant for $3.50. So I plead you not to do that, because on the off chance that a rabbit comes and eats it, you have nothing. If everything produces as it should, you've lost $1.50. I mean, the market price of that head of lettuce is the market price of that head of lettuce. You're just not going to just because you grow it yourself doesn't mean you can just justify, well, that head of lettuce is worth to me $7, because in no way, shape, or form is it ever going to be worth $7. You can't, just because you want to put a price tag on it of more than you spent, doesn't mean it is worth that. I just really see that far too often where gardeners say, well, I grew it myself, so there's inherent value there. In a way there is, but you can't add 4 times the value just because you grew it yourself. That's unrealistic. So I just want to get that out of the way. The next set of crops that I just do not want you guys buying from a greenhouse or a garden center are peas. Peas are something that sound great, they look wonderful, but the problem is when you get them home and you go to plant them in the ground, that's where the issues occur. They look great up until that point. And then once you put them in the ground, that is where the issues start happening. Because so often I'll go to the greenhouse or garden center and you don't see nice little baby pea starts that have not gotten all overgrown. I would say 99.9% of the time that I see peas for sale, I see a 4-cell pack or a 6-cell pack of peas, and they're all growing together. They're all just completely tangled up. As soon as you do that, as soon as you have that, you cannot remove them from their tangled up mess. If you try to do that, you end up breaking stems. And when you break stems, you pretty much kill the plant. So you've taken that 4 or 6 cell pack for $1.50 to $3, you bring it home, and you pretty much kill the plants taking them out. That's not a great way to start yourself out on a good foot. What I'd recommend doing is buying a pack of pea seed for, again, 99 cents to $3, and you're going to get 25 to 30 pea seeds. You're going to get 5-6 times more potential plants for the same amount of money, and you're going to put them right in the ground, and they're going to do far better. So that's another one. It's just not economically viable, but it's also just something that after a certain point, greenhouses and garden centers, they take something that's somewhat appropriate to be selling, because they transplant fine if you transplant them super young. But as soon as they get all tangled up, I know, and they should know, that when stuff gets broken, when stems break, the plants die. You can't sell something that you're going to be setting someone else up for failure for. That's just not ethical in my opinion. And then the next crop is kind of in that same line, and that's pumpkins. Pumpkins are a plant that get really large. They get really large really quick, and that's why we even recommend not starting them indoors, even if you start them yourself. Even if you buy a pack of seeds, to not start them indoors, because they get so big so fast that transplanting them out usually results in broken stems or damage of some sort, when you could just take a seed, pop it in the ground, take 2 or 3 seeds, pop them in the ground, and then when they all sprout, thin them out to the healthiest one, and you've saved all of that time and all of that hassle, and you've spent far less in the process. I literally was at Lowe's again. I'm not throwing Lowe's under the bus, it's just that's where I happened to be, and I saw their plant section, and I saw a pumpkin vine this long coming out of a 3-inch pot. Not only did that 3-inch pot cost, I think all of them were $3.50 or $3.60, something like that. for that huge pumpkin plant, but you know darn well that the chances of that stem breaking just from the weight, you pick that thing up, the weight of the plant's going to fall over. And as soon as that crimps the stem or breaks it, it's not like it's just going to heal. When the stem breaks, the plant is dead. And unfortunately, that's what happens to a lot of plants. And I just don't think that that is appropriate. After it gets to a certain size where it just becomes unmanageable or unsustainable, they should just cut their losses and throw the plants out. But instead, they put them on sale, that's the worst thing, because then you're playing a psychological trick where you're saying, this plant was $3.50, but now it's $1.50. Now you're just spending less for the same amount of failure. Don't do that, or even a higher chance of failure. So just don't do that. So those are some of the biggest ones. And then the final one that I wanted to touch on were, I've seen just far too often, were alliums, so like onion crops. If you're buying something like a shallot or an onion, make sure you're starting from a plant, not a set. A lot of times I've seen greenhouses and garden centers sticking a shallot in a pot and just letting that shallot grow and calling it a shallot. You can't do that. You can't just stick a shallot in the ground, because what happens is it doesn't grow properly. You're not growing from a plant, you're growing from a set. And the problem is that set is going to flower. It's not going to divide out, and it's not going to create a pretty shallot like people expect. And then they think they did something wrong when it was you who screwed them over. So that's a bad thing. But same thing with an onion. If you grow from an onion set, onion sets won't always get larger. If they're too big, or they're not planted right, or they're not put through cold storage properly, they're going to flower. They're not going to get large. And when they flower, they're going to stay really small. They're going to produce a flower. And then when someone cuts them and takes them in for storage, they're going to rot. You're not setting them up for success. If you get onions that start from a plant, that is appropriate and that's okay. But unfortunately, many places don't sell onion plants. I've seen very, very few that sell onion plants. So in my opinion, get a pack of onion seeds for 99 cents to $3, same price range as all the other seeds. Get yourself 300 to 500 onion seeds, start them, early spring in a little pot, get your seeds out. We have tons of videos on how to do it, and then plant them out. And you can see, well, you can't see because it's pretty far away, but that bed back there has about 200 onions in it from about 3 or 4 different varieties, I think 4 different varieties of onions. So roughly 50 plants per variety. And that is each one of those is going to end up with a beautiful onion that's going to last in storage for 3 to 6 months. That is how you properly grow an onion. We have growing guides on onions. We show you how to densely plant them, how to transplant them, how to separate them out from a dense planting method. We have tons of videos on all of that. Just don't buy them from an onion set where it's one single onion growing in a 4-pack. The last one is corn. Corn is one that is, I don't really have any other way to put it. It's just flat out unethical and wrong in every way. When it comes to corn, you can't transplant it because it does not transplant well. As soon as corn gets root bound, it stops growing. You're going to end up with corn that's about 1.5 feet, 2 feet tall. It won't amass to anything. Furthermore, if you're buying corn in a 4-pack or a 6-pack, you're buying 4 or 6 plants for $2 to $3. And I don't know how to put this any other way, but you might as well just take $2 or $3 and set it in the street and just set it on fire. Because I can throw a stone in any direction where we live, and I can find a sweet corn stand where I could buy a dozen ears of corn, so 12 ears of corn for $3. So I'm spending so much more than I'm actually getting, and in many cases, I'm not going to get anything. So I can recommend one thing. That's either go buy it. Well, I can recommend 2 things. Either go buy it, or go buy a pack of seeds for 99 cents to $3. Pop that corn in the ground when the soil is warm, and you're going to have 25 to 50 corn plants, potential for 25 to 60 ears of corn for 99 cents to $3 for that investment. Or if you don't feel confident in growing it and you don't have the space, just go buy it. It's gonna be far cheaper anyways. So those are the plants that I never recommend buying from a local greenhouse or garden center. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you learned something new. I really do hope that this served as a something to learn from, not to frustrate you. I hope that you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to throw a like up there. And as always, this is Luke from the MIgardener channel reminding you to grow big or go home, and we'll see you all tomorrow. All right, bye.